Hello. So today we've got a race that is a level 30, no Sunder, no Totems, no firestorm race, and also no zone resets. So that's going to be quite tricky. The players participating are ZiggyD, DonTheCrown, Norse, and Nogrul. ZiggyD, quite known for his racing experience in the past. He is, I believe, primarily a ranger racer and has a couple of demis here and there. Not quite sure how much he's been practicing. I know a lot of the other players have been practicing quite a bit, but Ziggy might be a little bit rusty. And then we've also got Nogrul, who is a little bit of a out of nowhere player to be. We're not exactly sure what he's going to be doing in this race, but it could be the one that wins, you know? He's quite shadowy. What do you think, Uber?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We also got Norse, who has a whole lot of experience in like just about everything in the game. He's played hardcore, he's played softcore, he's done a lot of lab running. He's done some racing, I'm pretty sure. And then you've also got the same with DonTheCrown. He's a huge lab runner. I'm pretty sure he's been practicing, and it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of strats everybody pulls out, because there's a whole lot of with the bans on the skills. Like,
Oh, yeah. It's definitely putting players out of their element for sure. You can see that some players, right now, from what I'm seeing, there's 2 Shadows and a Scion. We've got a Scion in play, which is a little bit of an unusual pick. Most of the time, Scions are known for simply being the worst Sunder class, unless somebody's extremely comfortable with SRS. But I still think maybe it's not going to do it. Some of these players are probably looking to pick up some muling gems like Onslaught, but we really have to see the start of the race to know what exactly they're going to end up on. Ziggy is still undecisive. What do you think, Uber? Is he going for that Ranger? I think I see a Ranger skill tree.
that's definitely a ranger skill tree. And
Oh,
I believe DonTheCrown is actually going to be going for SRS. That's the only reason I would see somebody going Scion.
hmm.
I do believe he was asking about SRS a while ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, SRS is a very safe pick. Not exactly known for the fast clear speed. Maybe a little bit on the witch. If I were to do a shorter race like this, I would probably go for Scion too, but Scion can get Sunder. And as we all know, Sunder is pretty good. But in this
But
race, you
Sunder is
can't.
banned.
Yeah, so I don't really see too many options for him. I'm surprised that Ziggy is actually going for the Ranger too here. So many different options. I think that maybe Ranger a little bit of an underdog in a race like this.
I can definitely see Ranger being all right. Ranger
Hmm.
gets a lot of movement speed early on with the Heart of the Oak and what's the no below that? The
Something with a
Quick
links,
Step.
I think. Yeah. Oh, quick step. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, lots of attack speed, lots of movement speed.
Hmm. You think he's going to be going for a bow setup, maybe a little bit melee? I saw that he was not. I don't think he was going through the projectile nodes.
He was going through the projectile
Oh,
nodes.
okay. My bad. Sorry.
So that almost definitely bow. I would think Rain of Arrows.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the melee stuff is a little bit more of a recent development with all the new gems. So probably not exactly familiar with it yet. Would be interesting to see him try, as I think most of the other players, I mean, Norse is a shadow. Here, the thought is that generally, if you were to be muling right now, shadow is probably the fastest way to mule onslaught. However, you don't really get a lot of the supports that you might be using on other classes like Chance to Bleed if you were to run it with a duelist. Also, I believe that if you were to do a duelist, you might go to Hellrake and get that second Quicksilver. See what the
Yeah,
players decide to go for.
it's going to be really interesting. I
Mm.
would imagine the people muling shadows are going to be going some sort of caster.
Mm. Oh, if they're actually mules. The Fire Nova Mind meta with Shadow is strong recently, and also
Oh
in a race
yeah.
like this, Shadow might do really well. Honestly, that Lightning Trap does extremely well early on. The problem with it is it doesn't quite hold up in Act 4, but in a race like this, some players might choose to go for the level 30 in Act 3, and some players might choose to progress. We don't exactly know. Both strategies, I think, are definitely optimal. Very tricky to decide. Maybe based off of RNG, they can decide whether or not to do something like that.
Yeah. Also, apparently we got debated by DonTheCrown. He is now on a shadow.
Okay, okay. Oh, that might be a mule. He was before on a Scion, right?
Yeah, he just deleted the Scion.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's definitely it. Ziggy going AFK. This is, I don't know.
Dude,
Ziggy
that
Diggy better
chair is
come
gonna
back
win.
fast. I mean,
Don't doubt the chair.
I don't know about you, but for me, as far as I know, Ziggy is my bet. So if he's giving himself a little bit of a handicap, let's just make sure it's not too much. I don't
I mean,
believe the chair was invited to the event.
yeah, dude, this isn't fair. It's a 2v1 here. He's got himself and the chair.
Yeah. Well, Ziggy, experienced racer, he definitely knows what he's doing. We'll see how that turns out. Well, players are, I think, about to start. Just check the time real quick. Yeah, just
Yep.
and Ziggy sits down. None of the players are starting. What is going on?
Stream delay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. I believe that is a face of, oh my god, what the fuck on Ziggy's face. Yeah, yeah. There's okay, all the players are off. 3 shadows and a ranger. We'll see if that mule kicks in.
Yeah. It should be
Well,
pretty interesting.
I think. You think who's going to get to town first, the Rangers or the Shadows?
Probably the shadows. The shadow always has a really, really strong hillock kill.
Well, maybe the Ziggy Diggy, despite the disadvantage, is gonna get some crits here and pull off that ranged kill. Not too much RNG on these layouts. We'll see how their mudflats is gonna be looking like, because there's a bunch of new layouts in mudflats, and some of them are not that fun.
Oh yeah, some of them are very, very random.
Yeah. Oh, Norse
And we'll
not
see.
logging out. Oh,
Of
here we go.
course, we don't have we're watching some less experienced racers, so we'll see how they do in reading things like the tidal island and such. Because if you're not as experienced with that, you can end up going around 75% of the island if you get one that's on the side of the island.
Oh yeah. Well, we see that Norse is out of town. I believe both Nogrul and Ziggy have got movement speed boots. I think Ziggy dropped rare boots from the vendor and just now managed to ID them, and he's out too.
Yeah, he's
Nogrul being
got
the only
move
one left
speed.
behind. Yeah. That is pretty crazy. Nogrul really taking his sweet time here, making sure that his character is fully decked out and ready to go. I do believe he does have movement speed boots, so you'll definitely be catching up to the other players who opted for a more aggressive maneuver here. And everybody stayed shadow. So you've got 3 shadows and a ranger in the race.
Norse decided to go for Blight. I think we're gonna see a ED Contagion shadow from Norse.
That's a very interesting pick because, well, while ED Contagion is safe, it doesn't utilize some of the best gems in the game, and currently one of those
Yeah,
gems is Onslaught.
yeah. If you don't know, Onslaught does not work if an enemy is killed by a degen. So Onslaught does not have synergy with the ED Contagion. However, the advantage of ED Contagion is that the +1 Chaos Gem one now exists, and
Yep.
it's even cheaper than crafting an Elemental wand actually.
Oh yeah. It only requires a blue wand, I believe, and a gem, right?
Yeah, only a chaos
No
gem.
alterations. But you can only use it from level 3, so we'll see if he ends up getting that. I think all the players, looking at their faces, they're quite calm. Ziggy seems to have a little bit of a case of mum spaghetti. He does shake around quite a bit, so we'll see how he does with this Hellrake fight if it's too stressful. Currently, all the players are still fighting Hellrake, and Ziggy actually has a blue pack, which usually is quite helpful. However, it's pretty risky.
Oh yeah, if you get unlucky with Hellrake and you get a blue pack next to Hellrake, it can get really, really nasty.
Oh yeah, do remember that every time a player dies, there is a 2-minute penalty. I see that Norse gets a rare item and immediately logs out. Gonna pick up his Quicksilver. Something interesting that some of the players, Norse ended up not leveling up. Some players choose to go for Mudflats first nowadays, just so they can check the vendor again, because you are level 2 when you enter town, which makes it pretty difficult to level up on Hellrake and then check again for movement speed boots or possibly some other items. Especially if you're a shadow, you're looking for that blue and that blue green wand. Although he is going for contagion, so we're gonna see some different playstyles here.
Yeah, blue green is definitely the way to go for contagion. I've actually tried this out myself, and it's really good. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
contagion tends to, if you have a +1 wand with contagion, you actually, if you have a +1 3 link, it's going to be one-shotting most packs
Oh
up
yeah.
to like Act 3 or something.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've tried it out too, and it was surprisingly strong. But yeah, again, you're getting rid of that onslaught gem, which other players might fully utilize. The thing is that Ziggy is really the only one who can really utilize the onslaught gem, because he's the only one really killing things with hits. Unless the other shadows opt to use a lot more freeze pulse and spark, while Nogrul doesn't even have freeze pulse, they're going to be killing with their fire trap, and that doesn't yield a onslaught bonus either.
Interestingly, with Ziggy, he actually, instead of going for the shrapnel shot start that most rangers these days go for, he went for the Pierce split arrow, which does have slightly better clear or
Mm,
more consistent clear than shrapnel shot, but he's not utilizing onslaught, as we said
yeah,
before.
yeah, he's not using the onslaught. Well, maybe he's hoping for early 3-link here, but yeah, you are sacrificing a jewel. I mean, Ziggy is the ranger player. When you play shrapnel, it does feel a little bit more like cleave than actually playing a ranger, so
Oh yeah,
we'll see how this develops here. Ziggy being in the lead right now. I believe Norse being second and Dawn being third. 2 players entering submerged right now. Actually, Norse is right behind, and Nogrul falling a little bit behind, but we'll see what he ends up with on his setup. What do you think the 2 other players are going to go? Are we going to see a lightning trap, or are you maybe going to see a fire nova mine? They do seem to be picking up elemental nodes, and they don't care about that blight.
yeah, I'm not sure. Uh, Also, it's worth noting, I don't think anybody is actually using onslaught gem at this point.
Uh-oh. That can't be optimal, but I'm sure it's a decision, right? You might seem like a mistake to some, but this is a decision. They're sacrificing links for better, more optimized setups, and so that they can focus more on killing the mobs faster rather than messing around with their inventory. I can get behind this. This is certainly a choice that doesn't seem like a wise one, but I can assure you these players are top notch.
Yeah, we actually have Nogrul with the 3 link already. He's got Arcane Surge and Pierce on Spark.
Hmm. Arcane Surge and Pierce on Spark. Ooh, that's an interesting setup. I can't say that I have seen that for leveling, but do you think he's going to be leveling up that Arcane Surge, or is he going to keep it rather low level, assuring that he's always going to have it up?
I think ideally you want the Arcane Surge a lower level because you want it to proc as much as possible. So we'll see what
Mm,
happens with that.
okay. Well, As we can see, Norse has actually passed Ziggy, despite Ziggy entering submerged before. But he is a ranger, and Shadow, I think, probably still is the strongest class in Act 1. Ranger probably being one of the weaker ones. So that is quite tricky to see. Oh, actually, Don has also passed Ziggy. Ziggy's looking for the exit, really struggling. His instance is rather crazy. I see what happened. Ziggy tried to cut some corners here and missed the ledge going up.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's
very
that
unfortunate.
layout where it's in the middle.
Yeah. That's why I tend to stick to the top of the layout just to be sure that I don't miss this one. But a lot of players tend to go immediately to the right and then up and check. But Ziggy, as soon as he went up, he could have huge dead end. Nothing really much you can do against that if you opt to go for the bottom layout strategy.
Yeah,
And
this layout, I can speak from experience, is one of the most frustrating to run into. And it's absolutely like, it feels good when you see the correct way to go, but when you go down that dead end, it is so frustrating because that loses you like a minute at bare
oh yeah.
minimum.
Well, it feels good for me because I opt to check the top, but I know a lot of players check the other side, so this one definitely would have been a good one for me. I think Norse went to town and ledge. That might not seem like a big commitment, but it does take up quite a bit of time. I'm not exactly sure what he picked up. I think he already had Contagion before, as you get it from the quest. But
You
I'm
might be
not.
searching for those 3 links.
Oh, yeah, certainly. It doesn't seem like any of his abilities are linked, actually. I might
Yeah.
not. Well,
And we've
let's
got
see.
DonTheCrown. He's got his onslaught going on his freeze pulse.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you can immediately see the onslaught kicking in. Always up. That might also be the reason why he caught up with Ziggy so much.
Probably is. That movement speed early on is so huge.
It's a massive difference for sure. Ziggy getting a sub, getting a little bit distracted, didn't turn off his alerts. I don't know. Do you think the players? I think Nogrul is peeking over. I'm not exactly sure if the players are paying attention to the chat, if they're getting some insider information from their peeps. I don't know. I think Norse is also peeking a little bit to the side. Don seems to be too, so I think all the players are getting extra info from the chat that keeps reporting where the hell the other players are.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to determine a lot of how this race is going to go. I can tell you personally from my run that knowing where the other players are might be a little bit helpful because you know that you can relax or you know that you have to step up your game. Can even work in the wrong direction where you feel like you're so far behind you lose motivation to play. And at the end of the day, it might be somebody trolling you. So you never
Yeah,
know.
and then you end up with a rage quit, and
That's it. We don't
then you
see
die
much
to a
more.
Zara when there's 1 HP left on him.
Oh yeah. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, but that might have happened at some point in some race. Ziggy is actually still in ledge. Despite
Yep.
being the first person to enter submerged, he is really falling behind. Again, Shadow tends to really kick ass in Act 1, but it's not like Ranger does much better. I think Ranger does a lot better in Act 3, would you say? Or when can Ranger really start catching up with the Shadows?
Probably about Act 2, but you can see he also got a trade PM for a drill neck. We'll see if he decides to sell that for 2 chaos.
Yeah, you could definitely go for it.
That's a lot of currency, man.
Oh, this is the problem with Path of Exile. It's actually my whisper, and he's not responding. So I'm going to make an angry Reddit forum post about it now. Nor is in town again. I think he just got to prison. He's checking. He's checking. He got. Oh, he's vendoring. He got the Blight Gem. He's vendoring for the +1 wand. Ooh, and it's a 3-link too. Before he was using an unlinked weapon, so we'll see. Checking for movement speed boots taking a while. Other players seem to be catching up. Norse really likes sitting in town.
The unfortunate thing is he actually wasted a Wisdom Scroll buying Blight. Viper Strike and Lesser Poison are both counted as Chaos Gems, and he didn't need to waste the Wisdom Scroll.
Well, maybe he's opting to keep those for later so that he can use them with those Iron Rings to get some resistance for his gear. Unlike the more melee characters or attack-based characters like Ziggy's, for instance, they don't have to. The Shadows don't have to use a Iron Ring. Therefore, they're allowed to have a lot more defense, despite most of the time being a little bit more in the faces of mobs. But yeah, you can really see now that he's got the +1, all he has to do is cast Contagion once and it clears the whole screen. It's crazy.
Yeah. Contagion is really strong, and once he gets the Void Manipulation support in, it's going to be really good.
Yep, has to hit level 8. We'll see how that develops. The other players still sticking to Elemental. They're not going to be switching out. Sometimes players maybe like to take the elemental nodes and respec them later on. With the accessibility of the busts in Act 3, you can get those 2 regrets really easily, and you're not really putting yourself much behind. If you get lucky, you can even respec them earlier. Ziggy now over at the goats, choosing to fight them, and the big goat comes down. So yeah, he really fell behind.
He's
Norse,
been farming a lot. I saw him killing a Harbinger pack in Ledge, and I think that's what kept him behind, because the damage reduction on Harbinger mobs are so high.
Well, he could be looking. You have to keep in mind that he could be looking for a binding orb. This race, it's pretty unusual because the players will only be level 30. You can only get a 4-link at level 25 when right? Is that correct? I believe it's level.
I think it's earlier
25.
now. You can get 4 links off of Val.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's a little bit of a risky strat, but maybe he's going for something like just getting a lot more EXP so that he can really not have to progress in Act 3 and just hit those levels earlier. I mean, as long as he's staying ahead of the zone by not too much, he shouldn't ever get penalized. And that way he can avoid progression. Because remember, the players cannot reset zones. Also, Norse is in warding.
We see Ziggy seems like he didn't really have a plan. He couldn't decide on what support gem he wanted for a bit there. He went for the LMP. I think he's going to be going for LMP Lightning Arrow.
I think he gave up on the Rain of Arrow, on the Split Arrow. He's going for the Shrapnel now. And we see Norse coming up to Brutus. He does seem to have quite a bit of evasion gear. Yep, he's got those fish scales. He's got a nice evasion energy shield helmet. And let's see how this goes. Dodges a slam. Oh, he did not choose to go for the strategy with the chess piece and standing on the wall, but he is using Blight and a degen, so he'll be doing a lot less damage, but even though Brutus is moving, he can keep that up on him. Oh, we've also got Dawn moving in on Brutus. We'll see how his gear is looking like. He's running to the corner. He knows what he's doing. He's got Orb of Storms, dodges a slam. Ooh, killing him quite a bit faster. Did Norse finish his kill, or did he go back to town?
He went back to town.
Oh.
I don't know what he just vendored for, but I know he got a wand back out of it, and he was vendoring a whole lot of stuff. I don't know if that was intentional.
A little bit tricky. I mean, Dawn is done. Dawn is ahead. He just did it. Face tanked like a boss. And like we mentioned before, those little trips to town for Norse might just cost him the race.
Yeah.
And Ziggy entering upper prison.
Norse is having a bit of
Nogrul not far
trouble.
behind. Yeah, he's definitely struggling. I mean, the Brutus skill is pretty difficult on this setup. If you don't have the right potions, I think he picked up another life flask, maybe?
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Not the cleanest of kills, but got the job done. We'll see if going back to town... Oh, he's actually not going back to town now. So he is opting out of the Flame Dash unless he decides to go from the waypoint play. As long as you've killed Brutus, you can log out and then you will have the prison waypoint. So maybe he's trying to get to caverns. He knows he's not going to be level 10, so he's looking to get to caverns. In the meanwhile, get level 10, pick up Flame Dash and his Essence Drain at the same time. We'll see.
Yeah. One thing that I also have noticed is that none of these players are using MTX, and
Ooh. Yeah, that's definitely not a good thing to do. Nogrul fighting Brutus. Third person to reach him. Also doesn't go for the face tanking strat. Let's see what he's doing here. Oh, there's a big slam coming in. Gets him. Oof, this is looking rather sketchy. I don't know if he's going to have enough mana.
yeah, this is...
Oof, does he have a TP? Tanks another slam. Choosing to go for dealing more damage rather than the more defensive approach. He realizes he doesn't have enough mana and uses his life potions to just dish out as much damage as possible. This is pretty good, I think. I think he's looking
just...
well. Tanks that slam, yeah.
He just tanking slams left and right. He does not care.
A little bit of miscalculation. Slams, I mean, Brutus hitting you is based off of entropy. Therefore, I guess he was just counting his entropy and maybe miscounted a little bit there. And that's why he was tanking so many slams. In the long run, would have saved him time. Oh, geez, Don really pulling ahead now.
Yeah, that onslaught's
put to work.
That onslaught's completely paying off. You can see it's pretty much always up. And
that's a smart play
Storms.
Too. Yeah, he had Orb of Storms that really helped him out with the Brutus skill. But you can really see that it makes a pretty massive difference. Remember that he does have to kill the mobs with the actual freeze pulse and not just the fire trap. Oof, dropping low from the Harbinger. Immediately decides that wasn't a great idea and runs away.
Yeah, the Harbinger mobs do so much damage early on. It's surprising, actually.
Got a Brutus fight here for Ziggy. Ziggy's just face tanking it. By far the fastest kill. Definitely. Gets one yellow item. Players are obviously looking for those yellow and blue items that they can sell them for transmute shards. Or if they have enough transmutes already, they might be looking to ID them and brace for the alterations that they're going to need in Act 2.
Oh, and another thing, Ziggy was able to face tank that. He had a strapped leather on. And with a strapped leather, Brutus will barely hit you. It is so easy to face tank with that much evasion. He even got a tricorn off of that. It's safe to say most attacks aren't going to hit him.
Exactly. It's one of the big powers of Ranger. Sure, not that much damage. Sure, not that much defense, but that evasion makes a massive difference. Evasion is very valuable, especially early on, because players get stunned a lot less. And if you get stunned a lot less, you just run around a lot more. Therefore, you can get places further or faster.
It's also worth noting that the evasion chests also have a lower movement speed penalty too, so you're less penalized for using evasion chests.
Exactly. Well, we've got Norse with this time, I think, a pretty optimal approach. Like I said, he did go for the Flame Dash, and I believe he made 2 +1 wands. So he's going to have a separate setup for his Contagion and his Essence Drain, doing a lot of damage. Do you think it's better to have +1 on the Contagion early on, or is it better to look for maybe a wand that has more spell damage so that his Essence Drain can deal a little bit more damage?
I think you ideally want the second +1 wand, so you can switch in Blight for the single target as well.
Wow, okay, yeah, that's going to be doing a ton of damage for sure. Oh,
yeah.
Ziggy killing another Harbinger pack. He's definitely going for something here. They do have a lot of implicit defenses, so it's pretty risky. He's getting pretty upset about something. I believe a shield. not exactly sure.
He accidentally transmuted his shield instead of the longbow.
Oh my, okay. Yep, that's gonna happen. I mean, small mistakes like this really add up in a race of this length.
Yeah, it looks like every single player right now is level 10 except for Ziggy.
Yeah, and level 10, while for a ranger, it doesn't make much of a difference. I mean, you gain a mobility skill like everybody else. You will see the shadows with the elemental damage really starting to push a lot faster now, because since they've got all this elemental damage, this affects their flame dash, and flame dash is a lot of damage on a shadow. And you can see that Dawn is at Mervo dropping low, getting a little bit overzealous there. He's playing it safe now, though.
Yeah, I don't know if he has any Cobras at this
You don't
point.
believe so? I don't think so. Ooh, he's taking a ton of damage. Actually, maybe he didn't take down much damage there. I think on average you'd be dead in that situation if you have no
Yeah.
resistances. So he might have prepared for the fight.
I mean, I'm not sure if he has the life nodes either. Uh,
Oh yeah,
on the
he could
shadow.
have went for the life nodes. Not necessarily a bad pick. Obviously, you want as much damage as possible, but picking up life again gets you stunned less, and that's super helpful. You're also, those nodes also give you strength.
And
So
to
you
give you
can
life
use
on
more
kill.
stuff. Yeah, and life on kill makes a massive difference. Oftentimes it will save your life. Players have so little life that even 2 life on kill, it will work like a potion.
Yeah. It was one of the reasons that Shadow used to be super strong in Endless Ledge.
Yep.
Because when you don't have those flasks, that life on kill can carry you.
Oof, is he gonna run out of mana? Oh, there you go. He just got some more potions. And he's lagging, I think. Oh, there you go. He's back in it. He's got the
Ooh.
mana. He can do this. Drops the Sapphire Ring too. Actually, a Quartz Scepter also. Struggling to pick it up. We also got Norse on Marivel, dodging all of those spears.
Yeah, I think Norris is kind of afraid to be tanking damage. One thing I noticed is
Oh
that
yeah.
he doesn't have his the life bar over his head.
That's definitely very tricky. I used to be one of those players that also didn't use that, but it's just way too good.
Yeah, you actually have to you have to have much more full screen awareness if you don't want to use the life bar over your head. Same with your mana, because mana is definitely an issue in the early game. Although with blight costing as little as it does, I doubt he's going to have much in terms of mana problems, and that's why he's using one mana flask.
Yep, it's definitely going to be making a difference. We'll see, maybe in the future, but for now, it's looking rather strong. Ziggy got an acceleration shrine. Ooh, catching up. I believe maybe even being ahead of Nogrul now. That acceleration shrine is definitely putting in work. Who needs onslaught when you can just have an acceleration shrine?
Yeah, really. And Norse is going to be killing Mervel and leveling up off of her.
Mm, is that a level? I believe that's level 11? Not exactly sure which level he reached here. He does not equip the essence range, so I would assume level 11, which is pretty good. Also pretty unfortunate because you're so close to leveling up your gems.
Ziggy and Norse are apparently both level 11, and Dawn and Nogrul are both level 10 right now.
Mm. Ooh, interesting. Dawn opts to go to the right. A lot of players will go to the left, but maybe he does feel like he needs that EXP. He is
Oh no,
level 10.
Dawn's level 12.
Oh,
He just
wow.
equipped Lightning
Okay.
Trap.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, now we're really going to see him kick off the lightning trap.
Oh,
I
he has a
think lightning
3 link
trap.
for the Lightning Trap too.
Geez, especially if he's got an offhand or a +1, that makes a massive difference. I think lightning trap is even comparable with Sunder up until level 18. I think in Act 2. We'll see how much ahead he can get with this. It will be very tough for other players to catch up in this scenario.
The tough part is you can't use the Onslaught gem.
Yep. I think all players are probably going to be sacrificing except Ziggy, but we'll see. Ziggy is fighting Mervo currently, and you can see that despite everything, he is doing a lot of damage. Nogrul also dropping low in that Mervo fight, tanking a little bit too many spears.
Managed to teleport out in the middle of the blizzard, too.
Wow, yeah. Ooh. He's tanking it. I think he does have a Sapphire Ring, so that gives him a little bit more confidence. Ziggy just about to finish his fight here. There you go. Drops a short bow that is rare. Not exactly the base he was looking for, but the short bow might still be very, very good. I think he's using a composite. I think that's the level 10 base, right?
Yeah. And even if you drop a short bow, if you get some, it's a fast base. If you get elemental damage rolls, if you get high elemental damage rolls, it can easily beat out most longbows and composites early on. Especially
Yes,
because your
exactly.
starter nodes are generic projectile damage.
Nogrul cleans up Mervo, drops 3 rare items, opts to pick up all of them. I don't believe he got a wand, so we'll see. We can see that Dawn and Norse are in Chamber of Sins now.
Yeah, and Norse now has his ED on. And just look at that damage. Killed an entire pack alongside a blue pack in 2 casts.
Yeah, that really is the power of the setup.
Yeah.
Ziggy thinking about something. Something's going on. I believe he just got to town, correct? Or did he already run Riverways? I'm not exactly sure. I was looking at the other player.
I'm pretty sure he just got to town. He might have been debating about saving that whetstone for a recipe for a bow, but he decided to vendor it for the wisdoms because he had like no wisdoms.
Ooh, that might really bite him in the ass later on. Most of the time, you're really not dropping that many blacksmith stones, so you really want to keep those. Killing another Harbinger pack here. I don't think his shards are looking that great, honestly. Is this going to be worth it for him, or is he just trying to get EXP?
Or
Again, we have
maybe
to
he's
remember.
maybe he's looking for currency for later on in the softcore Harbinger League, since you can transfer off of SSF.
Ah, a wise choice. You think Ziggy has so little respect for his opponents here that he's just farming up? He doesn't even care. He knows he's gonna win it.
I mean, maybe he's trying to win another battle.
Hmm.
He's already ahead. In terms of donations, he's gotten a whole bunch of cheers during this race too. He's been getting the bits.
Great. Definitely an expert. He knows what he's doing. We'll see how it ends up for him. Would be quite embarrassing if he doesn't win this race then. But we've got a pretty crazy fight up there with Fidelitas for Dawn. He's face tanking it. Wow, really well prepared on both the Merva fight and the Fidelitas fight. It seems like he's got more than sufficient defenses.
Yeah, he's even got the Flame Surge plus the Fire Trap combo. It's looking really good for him right now. He seems very, very well prepared.
Yep. Nogrul is going to be picking up the waypoint. Something that I tend to forget sometimes, to be honest. We do know that the players have to kill all or help Kraken, so that waypoint is super important. I tend to forget it, honestly. And
Yeah, it's
Norse is going for XP.
very easy to forget, especially because you can't reset zones. You can't go and like farm Northern Forest or something.
Yep, exactly. Oh, a lot of the times, yeah, Northern Forest is really going to be a huge breaking point. Ziggy switching to the lightning arrow now. He's doing a ton of damage. But can this make him keep up? Rangers are known for their damage. They're just not exactly known for their clear speed. But maybe with the Onslaught Gem, if he is using it, it'll make a pretty massive difference. But I believe you are sacrificing the Onslaught Gem, right? Because then you have to use Pierce, you have to use LMP, and the Lightning Arrow. So I don't see any buffs. I think he has sacrificed the Onslaught Gem to get
Yeah.
more damage. Oh my god, we've got Norse with a ghosted Fidelitas.
Oh my god.
Honestly, he is the perfect player to get that. I think maybe it's a blasphemous. I'm not sure. It is really low. It's just not
I
dying.
think it was a rogue.
Oof. Oh, okay. He was
It,
taking a
it
lot of damage then.
the boss looked really small, but that's a lot of rare items.
Oh yeah, this is definitely gonna help him out. Shadow doesn't need that much, especially with Norse's setup, where he does not need the alterations to craft his +1. But any alteration is helping out. Obviously, the players can roll possibly their Quicksilvers better or their next Quicksilver flask. And also, they can get an instant flask this way, which gives them a lot of defenses. So any rares you can get, definitely super helpful. Just now running Riverways too.
Yeah, and Norse just picked up 15% move speed boots, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to make a massive difference. He wasn't using any boots before. So this is pretty huge for him.
Yeah. He's got he just had white boots on pretty much before.
Yeah.
Just some white iron greaves that he picked up really early on.
Yeah, I think maybe even on the Mervo fight, I don't think he had boots. I'm not exactly sure. But oh, we got an interesting strategy. I think Nogrul has gone to Kraton before since.
Yeah, and he's
Right.
even got a shield on. That's kind of
Ooh.
surprising.
Well, usually players opt to do the bandits a little bit later because the fights can be quite difficult, and obviously, especially with a caster, the higher level you are, the more damage you're going to be dealing in these sketchy situations. But he seems to be doing just fine. Also, he is getting quite a bit of EXP out of this fight, but I don't think the newly spawned mobs are giving him EXP anymore.
Yeah.
Don with his crown fighting Alira. YOLOing quite a bit. He's out of potions. You can't TP out of this fight, so he's out of pots. He's going to be struggling. Yeah, Alira. The tricky part about Alira really is that he is trying to face tank her as much as possible, but the closer you are to Alira, the more likely she is to move away from you. Therefore, you really want to stick to being more ranged rather than melee. So that was probably something that made it difficult for him to keep his flasks up.
Yeah, she really likes to be annoying for people that want to melee.
Oh yeah.
Because she just likes to run away if you're in melee range, because she wants to use her wand attack from range.
Well, we've got Ziggy fighting Weaver, doing a ton of damage. We've got Norse opting to go for the skill point, the first player to do so. We'll see if the other players choose to go for the skill point also. He is looking to get EXP, and the forest is definitely getting him a lot of EXP. He is doing something with his map. He is... Oh, map transparency on 0. Okay. And then
I think
Ziggy...
he's trying to fix his map because he missed the road to Alira.
Yeah. Okay.
He's
Well,
he was trying to figure out his
dealt with...
settings.
Yeah, Ziggy dealt with Weaver really easily, so that's really nice. Something that players might want to remember in general is that if you are in the zone that Norse is in, Weaver will always be on the opposite side of the waypoint, so opposite side of the road, while Alira will be on the same side. So rather than looking for the crack in the road, you can just run sort of towards the waypoint, and then you're always going to hit her. And alongside that, you're getting a ton of EXP. But Norse found her quite fast, so I don't think this was too bad for him.
Yeah.
Got Dawn fighting Weaver. Dropping low, dropping low. That flame surge doing a ton of damage, but very risky. Shadow, that's Shadow's biggest problem. Early on, yeah, the flame surge will still do damage, but later on, if you're fighting bosses, it can be really tricky to stay alive.
I think it was almost deceptively looking kind of dangerous, but it wasn't really. Look, he has 2 greater life flasks, and they're both... I know at least one of them is rolled. The flasks really serve a lot.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a chest piece. He doesn't have gloves. He doesn't have anything really. He's honestly going for really YOLO strat. The bosses that he dealt with really well, Fidelitas and Mervo, well, he was primarily dealing well with them because he has a Sapphire and a Topaz ring, but yeah. He does have gloves, actually. Sorry, I believe he de-equipped them or maybe bought new ones just
He
now.
just bought gloves, and he's crafting his +1 lightning now, so he's gonna really be doing some big
Oh, yeah.
damage.
That's going to make a massive difference. We've got Nogrul on Fidelitas, still using that shield. Maybe he dropped low a couple times, and he's just wanting to make sure that even if the other players go a little bit faster, he can always... Ooh, he can always just survive while other players will die. But I think what has just happened was Nogrul killed Fidelitas and logged off. He did not pick up the gem. He has to run
Oh,
back.
he's shaking his head and he's face palming. He knows he just messed up.
Yeah, and it's even worse in this race. Mistakes like this are super punishing because he can't reset the zone. He can't get the EXP anymore. He has to run all the way back to the same zone he just cleared.
Yeah,
But
he cannot reset. That's a big time penalty.
oh yeah, he's gonna look to get through there as fast as possible. You can see he's looking for some mobs. He's struggling, sticking to the rules. Very honorable behavior. Ziggy is also in sins, farming some blue packs right now. Little bit, would you say, unusual way of progressing through Act 2? A little bit
Yeah.
backwards, some might say.
Interestingly, uh, I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know that the sins are kind of lower level and meant to be cleared first in comparison to the weavers. That's why you get a 16 gem from sins and 18 from weaver.
Yep,
So
exactly.
I think he cleared weavers first
Well,
before sins.
yeah. Well, as long as they aren't too low level, they won't get penalized. Therefore, they can still do quite well. Maybe players are looking for some sort of strategy of resetting the instances this way, where they run something earlier so that they can run it again. Norse just now going for Weaver, and that is unusual. I believe he's killed Alira. I don't think he's killed Creighton yet. So that's a little bit tricky. Oh, I think we've got... I think Don missed a waypoint. Is he in... Or maybe he's just getting EXP in Old Fields? Could be that. Because he
I
is
think he's
running back.
going for Creighton.
Oh, that's Broken Bridge. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I don't
Broken
know why
Bridge.
for... Okay, okay. I thought he maybe restarted just so he could get a little bit more EXP, but no. I thought he was already done that. Nogrul just now getting the gem finally and running to the riverways. Norse logs out, but he's trying to log into the Aussie servers, and that's never a pleasant experience. But I think we've got two Aussie people here. We've got the ZiggyD and we've got the Norse. Not exactly sure about the other guys.
Yeah. ZiggyD and Norse, I believe, are both Australian, and servers in Australia aren't always at the top of their game.
Yeah.
We've got Don taking the Creighton reward.
Interesting choice.
Oh, he forgot
Ooh,
to take the wetlands waypoint though,
there
so he's
you
gonna lose
go.
some time going back.
Yep, that's exactly it. You forget those waypoints. You can't reset your zones. He probably logged off after Oak, so I
Yeah.
don't think he's that far behind. But
And
yep,
wetlands is also a very frustrating instance if you don't know how to read it. It
yep,
can be really hard to find the waypoint.
yep. Essentially, to the players that don't know, the exit of the zone is determined of the entrance to the Oak area. So with the layout that he's got, with the zone being bottom right, so to say, the exit will be directly up, and yeah, he gets lucky a little bit here. He wasn't quite sure where he's going, but there was a left wall right there, and he did really well. Norse going for Oak. A very clean fight, honestly. I think
Yeah.
that's the big power that Norse has behind him. The Degens are just doing so much damage at this point.
Oh yeah, and Oak doesn't get any like endurance charges are insanely strong for mobs,
Mm,
and Oak very often either has physical immunity or those 3 endurance charges, and those do not give chaos res. So chaos damage cuts through Oak really, really quick.
yep, exactly. Nogrul looking for the waypoint. An interesting strategy for him. He is sticking with his 3-link. He loves that onslaught. He's using Spark. He's utilizing his Flame Dash. Isn't using the Lightning Trap. Oh, there we go. He's got the earlier.
He actually doesn't have onslaught still. He's using added lightning and
Oh,
pierce on his spark.
oh, that's right. Well, we'll see if it's gonna do him a lot of good. It is a little bit more single target, I suppose, if you are not getting those procs. So he's taking the less RNG approach, I would assume, but still on just large flasks. Same for Norse. Norse is a lot deeper. He's now in Vol Ruins, and he's got a medium flask. Oh, he does have a grand flask, actually. I did not see it because it was just now recharging, but
Yeah.
I thought he was still on a medium and a large.
Oh yeah, I thought that was a large too.
Yeah. So he's doing well there, and I think Nogrul is going for the passive point. Or no, he's running across. He's going to Weaver.
I just noticed the boots that Ziggy is wearing. Not only were they 10% movement speed, but they also have double resistance.
Yeah, and those were dropped off of Hillog, so he's been benefiting from it all along. Those really make a massive difference. But yeah, with that in mind, he really has fallen behind in Act 1 quite a bit. So
He's even using a gold amulet. He's magic finding while he's racing.
oh, he's hoping for that Tabula Rasa drop. Ziggy is going all out, sacrificing his defenses just so he can possibly drop something next year.
Magic find can actually be pretty nice in a race though.
Oh yeah,
If you can find those rare items, like that's pretty huge. Can
yep.
give you extra damage.
It's especially useful because even if you find rare items and they're not necessarily good, you still get a ton of alterations, and attack-based characters need a lot of alterations. You have to buy Blood Rage. You have to sometimes buy a second faster attacks. You have to buy, you get one Herald, you have to buy the other one. Sometimes you're going to take stuff like physical attack damage, it's a lot of alterations that we're looking at. But Ziggy does seem to have the slow and steady approach of just farming up. And he is doing a ton of damage, honestly, mostly one-shotting packs with his lightning arrow. I think Norse is
Yeah.
also the second one to reach the ball, with Dawn being in one of those crucial zones. Northern Forest. Oof, he's actually already went through it. I don't think he got all that much EXP in it. That's going to make a pretty big difference.
Well, lightning trap can be deceptively fast too.
Oh, yeah.
It can off-screen mobs very easily.
Oh, yeah. Especially in zones like that. Exactly, yeah. That's the correct thing to point out for sure. Norse is not even looking for mobs. He does not care. He wants to get through this zone as fast as possible.
He's just casting his contagion and he's one-shotting packs with it.
Yeah,
Not
but
even
that's
casting essence drain.
exactly, that's something to point out. This is extremely good play because oftentimes players go for that overkill. I myself personally can tell you that oftentimes I facepalm quite hard because I don't have to use the essence drain and I keep using it. While Norse is playing extremely well with the contagion, and he's not wasting any time. That's a problem that a lot of people run into. They go for the overkill damage, spending too much time per pack. But Norse is really playing it perfectly, honestly.
Yeah. It seems like he practiced a little bit for this.
Oh
He
yeah.
seems like he has a lot of experience with leveling this type of build.
Hmm. Well, Nogrul getting a little bit lost. Looking for Weaver. I wouldn't say that it's maybe I called it the wrong way. It's a happy accident that he went all the way around because this way you can get more EXP. And again, this is an EXP race. Some people might look at the screen and they're like, ooh, not even 35-minute vol. What is this race? But under these circumstances, players playing a little bit slower to kill a little bit more mobs, I think in the end will probably be rewarded. Overkilling makes a pretty massive difference because you don't have to progress to Act 4. You can't reset zones in this one.
Yeah, every single bit of XP matters.
Well, I believe Dawn
Noogie
is...
sending Dawn a friend request. Is Noogie trying to...
Possibly some sabotaging?
Yeah, sabotage the race?
Help. Oh, we'll see. Noogie, a ranger player, probably looking for his boy ZiggyD to crush this one, but we'll see. Unless Dawn slows down in Act 3, he's got a pretty big lead right now. We do
Even
know,
worse off is
however,
Dawn straight up declined the friend request.
he declined it?
Yeah.
I mean, if he declined it, that is very naughty behavior. I don't know if we should maybe do a bad-mannered race. Dawn and Dead and Doom so far, we're looking for 2 more. We'll see if Ziggy can drop some bombs here.
Yeah, and Dawn is in the lead for levels. We've got Dawn at 20, Norse at 19, Ziggy at 18, and Nogrul at 17.
Hmm.
And we've got Dawn about to take on Val.
See what sort of optimization he does here. If he's going to be switching out his gems, there you go. He's moving them around, focusing more on dealing damage with... Not exactly sure. I think Flame Surge. It's probably
Probably
the
Flame
best
Surge.
approach. Yeah, he doesn't have... I don't think he has a conk effect. Something
just bought
interesting
one.
about... Oh, there you go. Yep, but every time, you have to keep in mind, every time you go to town, it wastes your time. And it might sound, if you're listening to the volume in game, it might sound like Vol is still popping up, but unless you are in the zone, Vol just waits. So it's sure he was going to be doing a lot more damage, and the fight will be somewhat safer, but the time doesn't come back. He is dealing a ton of damage though.
Yeah, he is doing a lot of damage. And
That
he
is
has
really
practice with
crazy.
that Val fight. He knows how to dodge those slams pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure.
Using his flame dash to burn Val. Ooh, those lasers though.
Yeah, gets hit by if he would have gotten hit by a second one, even full HP wouldn't have helped him there. He was shocked for quite a large amount. Vol, excuse me, does go down, which is a little bit unfortunate considering his damage. I think for a lot of the other players who probably won't have this sort of damage, the fight's probably going to take a lot longer, but even with his damage, he did get 2 ad phases.
I can see Norse cutting through Val pretty quickly though. Blight does a lot of damage in a +1 with a 3
Well,
link.
yeah, we're definitely going to have to see. He has been utilizing his Blight for single target, so he's definitely going to be looking to switch out those gems too.
Absolutely.
Well, ZiggyD just now entering Northern Forest. We'll see what he gets. You have to keep in mind that ZiggyD, I think he is level 19 now, which is a lot more EXP than you would tend to have in Northern Forest. So we'll see if he's looking for some more mobs, or maybe he's looking to get to the other acts a little bit faster now.
Yeah, it looks like he is level 19 right now.
Yep, that's a ton of EXP. Obviously, some people might look at it and be like, okay, he's got a lot of EXP, but you have to keep in mind that the more EXP you've got, the higher level you are, the faster you're clearing. So sometimes it might make a massive difference. Maybe you've got a weapon that you wouldn't be able to use otherwise. Instead of 2-shotting, you're going to be 1-shotting now. So even for an attack-based character, it makes a big difference. And we've got Norse coming up with Vol. He is doing all right damage. I don't know if it's more than Dawn, but it's pretty okay. I don't think he was using Blight there. He kind of tunnel visioned that essence drain, getting slammed, dodges. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
he's
you go.
got his
There's the
essence
Blight.
drain on a 3 link.
Yeah, he definitely prepared, but you can see immediately Vol goes into another ad phase. something that Dawn did not have a problem with.
Yeah, unfortunately, if Val decides to do that, you don't have much you can do about it.
Exactly.
One of the bad things about Shadow for racing with the Chaos setup is that you also don't get the Wither Totem because Shadow does not get Spell Totem.
Exactly. Have to wait all the way until library, but these players probably won't be choosing to go for something like that. And you can see another ad phase every time this happens. That's a couple seconds down the drain. Something Dawn did not have to deal with whatsoever. Quite unfortunate, but he does deal with the fight really well, dodges all those lasers, and he's through.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
he does decide to TP out and skip the doorway.
Yep, exactly.
And
I
back to
think,
the Contagion 3-link.
yep, very nice. Switching out those gems, that makes a massive difference. Oftentimes, players will not move their gems around, and it's just kind of, they could have a much more optimized setup, but they opt to kill stuff faster rather than mess around with their inventory. But I think on a class like Shadow, especially with those degens, it is really worthwhile to move those gems around.
Absolutely.
Maybe if one of the players was playing a more melee class using Leap Slam, you can really feel that if you're messing around with your inventory too much, you're going to be in trouble sometimes because you're just not utilizing your Leap Slam, which will give you a lot more mobility than just running through instances. Doesn't forget to talk to Clarissa, also something I think worth pointing out for Norse. But even though Norse seems to be speeding up here, what do you think? Don has a pretty big lead. He is also about to hit level 22, while Norse is about to hit level 21, so a full level advantage.
Yeah.
Can the Contagion still keep one-shotting? I believe Lightning Strike should be slowing down right about now, honestly. So I think Norse is going to make this EXP difference smaller and smaller.
Yeah, and it's also kind of worth noting that DonTheCrown isn't really updating his gear too much. He's
Oh yeah.
still on very early mana flasks, and he still doesn't even have a belt on.
Yep. Yeah, stuff like this will hurt you. None of the players, I don't believe, died yet. But if
There
you don't
is
have that
no.
life, you're gonna get stunned more.
I do believe there is not a death penalty for this race this time around.
Well, I mean, dying is a penalty in itself, right?
Right. Because
You can't,
you can't reset.
exactly. So you have to rerun all the stuff you've already cleared without getting any XP. Pretty big difference. Uh, Oh my goodness, Nogrul smoking that big pipe. Jeez. Ziggy, I think is an a. Wait, what is Ziggy doing in Ancient? Is he an Ancient? I wonder how much DPS is he gonna do to Vol, if he's also gonna have a tricky phase or not. There you go, finds the entrance really fast,
Yeah.
or the entrance to the next zone, I should say.
I guess he's still going to be using Shrapnel Shot for his single target at this point.
Mmm. An interesting decision. I think most players go for the burning arrow or shrapnel shot, still more damage. I'm not exactly sure.
I do believe shot is more damage.
Hmm.
It's a question of if you want to go for the barrage, but barrage will require you to actually go back to Act 1 and buy it, so I
Oh
can
yeah.
see the Shrapnel Shot. So we've got Dawn at level 22, Ziggy at 20, Norse at 20, and Nogrul at 18 right
Yep.
now.
The players are definitely choosing to go for a ton of different strategies here. But we'll see what approach prevails. Right now, I'm really looking forward to that progression. Whether or not the players will choose to go for the higher levels, the way it's looking right now, I think they just might have to, honestly. Unless they're going to be full clearing Lunaris, they just might have to. None of the players really opted to go for the side zones outside of the skill point in Act 2. Nobody has been clearing anything particularly unusual. Also, Ziggy going for that Vol kill. Switching out gems, rapidly going through his inventory. We'll see what he ends up on. See, his Siege
He's getting
Ballista is
that.
linked.
Yeah, he's getting that Siege Ballista up. Very important for that extra damage.
Pretty good damage, I would say. All players have quite good gear.
His bow
Definitely
isn't
less damage.
his bow
Yeah?
isn't too amazing. It's a recurve bow with 8 to 15 cold and 7 attack speed and +1 bow gems. That's it.
Still doing a lot of damage. Also, Vault really tunnel visioning that cold. He slams, no ads. This should be good enough. I don't think he's going to get another ad phase. There you go. You should kill him right before he goes down. Exactly. Wow, really fast kill from Ziggy. Despite dealing less damage, I believe that was the fastest Vault kill.
Oh, apparently Dawn. I think we missed this. Dawn ripped to a Harbinger mob.
Well, that is quite unfortunate, especially since I'm not exactly sure if he's still using the shield or not. But he was using a shield for a while. With Norse entering the sewers, we'll see if he goes for the bust. Dawn did get the busts and is pretty far ahead. Those busts can be quite tricky to pick up.
Yeah.
Ziggy running around, still swapping around his gems. There you go. He's still gonna need that single target to get the Alira guard killed.
Yeah. Seems like he has 2/3 links though, so shouldn't have too much of a problem with that.
That's pretty massive. He's one-shotting everything despite not having the best of both, so great positioning from him. And Dawn kills an Exile, picks up a massive amount of items. We'll see if he can pick out anything good out of those. Ooh, for a second there, I thought Nogrul is gonna stop by Haku for a second. He hovered over the entrance. I wasn't exactly sure. Maybe he's going for the EXP, but no.
Yeah, the no
Nice
zone
strategy.
resets.
Yeah, no zone resets, so it does make a pretty massive difference. I think as far as Dawn, he wasn't really struggling too much with those busts. I think Norse was having a little bit of a problem finding that first bust. We'll see if he gets an easy zone for the rest of them. Yep, gets the second bust. We'll see if the third one is past this one or not. Yeah, he opts to go for exactly that. And Ziggy is in town, Act 3. We'll see. The massive difference for Ziggy really is now finding a good bow. He is certainly dishing out a lot more burst damage than the other players because the lightning trap is really starting to drop off unless you have a offhand weapon, which I don't believe Dawn has. Ziggy might really start catching up again here.
Yeah, and we've got Dawn in Battlefront trying to go to docks before Solaris.
Ooh, interesting decision. Is he level 24? That is the question. Not exactly sure. Dox is higher
He
level
is.
than Solaris. He
Yeah.
does have. He's level 23?
Yeah, he's 23.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is a pretty big penalty. I believe he's only getting between 60 to 70% EXP out of this Dox, maybe between 75 actually. And that's going to make a pretty massive difference. Most players choose to go for Solaris, but something to keep in mind, again, they can't, dropping very low, they can't reset zones. So maybe part of his decision is that Dox is one of those big zones that gives you a lot of EXP. He has a pretty high chance of spawning a really easily accessible corrupted zone too. So maybe he decided to go to Dox to get this EXP despite the penalty, but then be able to come back to the Dox and get a lot more EXP later on.
Yeah, he might opt to full clear it too, but
Yep.
the scariest thing is that he actually has 0% fire res.
Oh yeah, he was dropping really low right before.
There is not a single bit of fire res on his gear right now.
Well, we'll see how that works out for him. Is that a Biscos? Biscos hype? No, it's
Oh
can't
man.
believe it. Biscos can drop there. That would be pretty crazy. That rarity coming into play. Well, Might have been. And we've got Nogrul on a Vol equipping a chess piece, moving around his gems. We'll see how much damage he can do with the Spark. He is not using Flame Surge like Dawn, but he's still doing quite a bit of damage. I believe he's doing more damage than Norse. We'll see how his phases look like. Oof. We've got Norse with a massive shrine, especially in Battlefronts. You tend to not get a whole lot of EXP in Battlefronts, but Norse is just getting so much out of that shrine. Opts to not pick it up, doesn't waste any time. Honestly, looking at Norse, he has a very interesting playstyle. It seems like he does avoid a lot of the unnecessary movement and positioning, and instead just opts to do as much damage as quickly as possible. And again, his essence drain play is really magnificent because he doesn't use it.
Yeah.
He just kills everything with contagion, which is really sick.
Yeah, Contagion again is really, really strong early on. It got buffed in 3.0, and we got the +1 chaos recipe. It's actually
Yeah,
really strong into Act 3.
yeah,
I
I
think
didn't
Act
think
4
it's
is when
going
it
to
falls
hold up
off.
so well. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it's going to hold up so well for so long, but it's been really doing a lot. Jeez, but look at the damage on Dawn. Just completely decimates that box. So much damage coming out, and those lightning orbs from the lightning trap, they will be off screening. So the mobs that players don't even see, or some of the players don't even see, he's killing them. And that's going to definitely add up because that's a lot of unnecessary movement gone right there.
Yeah, we've got Nogrul about to finish Val now.
Hmm. Ooh, getting lasered. We spoke too soon. There we go.
Yeah, those lasers are scary, and sometimes when you portal out, it can actually bug out when you resurrect a checkpoint
Yep,
and send you
exactly.
all the way back to the start of the zone.
Ooh, a little bit of look of intensity on Norse's face. He's finding a Harbinger pack here. Is he going to choose to kill all of it? I believe so. I wonder if Ziggy's Harbinger approach is paying off, if he was just looking to get experience, or maybe possibly if he was actually looking to complete those orbs.
I think people are going to be starting to farm those Harbinger packs at this point. I don't think
Hmm.
people want to do Dominus and go into Act 4.
So it
Remember,
seems what they've got.
this race ends at level 30. The moment you hit level 30, you're done.
They still have a long way to go. Dawn is currently 24. Ziggy is 22. Norse 23. And Nogrul being level 20. So, sure. But there's so much more to go still. Dawn being 25, the one that is the closest, but he's done a ton of progression. He's going to have to head to Piety. And I mean, once you're at Piety, you're not that far away. Jeez, Louise. Nogrul dropping extremely low. He has a
Holy.
martyr ghost in the Clarissa guard. Ooh, really manning up and face tanking all of that. He almost died to the exploders, but everything
I,
there was fully calculated, I believe.
I don't know about you, but when I hear those martyr ghosts popping off,
Oh yeah.
I get those volatile flashbacks, man.
Oh yeah. That's
They're real
definitely an
scary.
oh shit moment for sure.
You
Sometimes,
know me, I do
those.
not like volatile in the slightest.
Yeah, I I don't think anybody likes volatiles, but I believe with the possible scaling change, that's one of the things you don't have to look for as much in these races. So
Yeah,
on the
I
bright
mean,
side, it's just the martyr that's gonna kill you now.
yeah. I mean, what kind of nerd dies to volatile these days, right?
Right. Not me.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Everybody going for the bust, it seems so far. Ziggy
oh, we got
is.
Don putting on MTX.
Ooh.
He is really flexing on
Yeah, what are we
the
doing here? Is
competition.
that disrespect? Is that confidence? Is it a lack of confidence? Do you think he needs an extra boost?
I think he's
I don't
going for that
exactly know.
extra XP boost. He's looking for those 3 Harbinger packs per zone now, just to
Mm,
get all that EXP.
yep.
And
Picking
I
up all
mean,
the orbs too.
he has a solid 2-level lead at least at this point.
Yep. But he has already been through all those zones. He is progressing. He's been through a lot more zones than the other players. So we'll see how the other zones go for people. I mean, there can be a massive difference in the amount of EXP you're going to get out of a single docks run. So we still have a lot to look forward to. I don't know if necessarily Don was getting the best zones. Honestly, it didn't seem like that many blue packs. So the other players might just get better zones and catch up quite a bit.
Yeah. He's definitely put on full farm mode. And he is really trying to clear out the zone as much as possible. As I say that, he skips a pack at the end
Yeah,
of
I was
Solaris
about
1.
to say. I'm like, oh, he's certainly going to kill all of those mobs, and then he just runs past them. I don't know. He might be feeling the pressure here. Like I mentioned, I don't believe he's been having the best of zones. So despite being ahead, due to RNG, he might be one of the players who will have to progress. You simply might be forced into doing it. And I mean, it's not like you're getting a whole lot of EXP or efficient EXP for that matter in Scepter of God with all those freezing and proximity shield mobs.
It's unfortunate that he decided to do Solaris second instead of Dox. He could have probably been 26 at this point if he had done it the other way around.
We see that Norse is going for the opposite strategy with clearing Solaris before Dogs, but like mentioned before, it could be that Dawn will have his instance back up earlier.
And Norse is catching up at this point. His damage
Yeah.
is really, really good.
Yeah, especially for those Harbingers, that Contagions travels extremely well. Like we said, the lightning trap tends to fall off towards this part of the game, especially if Dawn is forced into going into Act 4. Everything over there has lightning resistance. So off-screen doesn't really matter because he just simply won't be able to kill mobs unless he has a 4-link with two really strong weapons. Well, for Norse, I mean, he's doing so much damage. It really doesn't matter what kind of weapons he's using. He's got those 2+1s, more than enough. Great single target too.
Is Ziggy clearing out catacombs at this point?
I
That looks
believe
like
we're looking at the
catacombs.
same thing. That definitely looks like catacombs. You think that's smart? Do you think maybe a little bit overzealous? Maybe he tries to stay in Act 3 a little bit too much. He is using a lightning ability, so again, going to Act 4 is risque.
Yeah. And with the no zone resets, I could see it being pretty good, especially with how easy it is to get under leveled, but I don't think he has a problem with levels at this point. He is level 24.
Oof. Dawn dropping extremely low against Gravicious. He is opting to kill him. That's a
Yeah,
pretty
I don't know
solid
what he's
spec for him.
going for, though.
Oh, he's got a pretty solid spec. Maybe he's looking to pick up the Flame Blast for a little bit single target instead of the Flame Surge. Not exactly sure. Burn, as far as racing is concerned, is dead for Shadows. So something to note again that a lot of Shadows will go for the Scorching Ray at this point, despite picking up trap nodes. Obviously, a single target being Flame Surge, but the Flame Surge is a risky play. Enemies like Piety can really destroy you quite fast if you are in such close range. So we'll see if his defenses will keep him alive. And Norse just now got the waypoint too. So you will be going for the docks. No, actually. What is he doing? Has he been to docks already?
Did he skip? He didn't full clear docks, did he?
I believe he just went through it really fast.
Yeah, I don't think he full cleared it at all. That's
Mhm.
really, really
Oh, he
scary.
must
Maybe
be
he's
going. Yeah, maybe
going
he's
for
looking.
library?
I believe he's looking for a Dominus kill here and a little bit of that dried lake action. There's no resets, but dried lake is twice the size of any other zone. And if you pull mobs correctly with the contagion, he can get a ton of EXP in there really fast.
But with the density nerfs, I don't know that that's going to be worth it.
Well, we'll see how exactly it turns out. He has very safe boss kills while the other players, not necessarily. I'm mainly looking at Nogrul and Dom here, with Ziggy dealing a ton of damage currently.
And he decided to just go straight past Gravicious.
Yep.
No Gravicious X Shadow fanfic today.
Yeah, doesn't need anything from him, I don't think.
Ooh. Dawn going down to a whole bunch of zombies in Lunaris.
Yep. Those are one of the trickiest enemies. He has to rerun all the way back. It seems like not a big deal, but then you just fall over. Those zombies will do a ton of damage. And they come out of nowhere,
Yeah,
too.
with the flesh offering, they go really fast, too.
Yeah, Norse having a really difficult Harbinger pack here, but the hinder from the Blight really keeping it together for him. But he's also going to have to fight a bunch of zombies. But a big difference is that not only does Dawn have a limited amount of lightning traps, and they've got a limited AoE, Norse doesn't have any of those problems. As long as he correctly aims his Essence Drain, that contagion should be traveling through all the mobs. Yeah, we can see that also Ziggy did pick up the item, and he is probably most likely going to be clearing the zone as much as possible. I would say in terms of EXP, Ziggy is doing extremely well for the amount of clearing he's done compared to the other players. I think he's had quite good density or has been incredibly consistent with his clearing. From the beginning, he's been a little bit slower, but certainly killing a lot more.
Absolutely. So
That is a haste mob on Dawn's screen, but he deals with it rather fast. That's what it looked like a shrine. Those mobs were really fast. Acceleration shrine with a haste mob, definitely very tricky, but he dealt with it very swiftly.
and Ziggy just picked up a 4-link chest.
Ooh,
4 greens.
that is making a massive difference, especially for something like Lightning Arrow, where, yeah, you're kind of sacrificing 2 of your slots just to make your ability work. It doesn't make you deal more damage because you have to use that LMP and you have to use that Pierce, which isn't the best of damage supports. So with a good bow and a 4-link, he'll be doing a ton here. We'll see if he's going for the onslaught or what exactly he's opting to do. He's only using the 3-link right now.
Yeah, he's got it on a good base too. It's an armor evasion base.
Yep. I believe level 24. Very powerful.
Yeah, that's one of the best bases you can get.
Oftentimes players won't reach level 28 for Dominus, so if everybody is opting to go for it, from what I'm seeing, it will be really hard to have enough EXP here to really not go for Dominus. This would certainly help him out a lot, but he needs to use that 4th slot. Make a massive difference.
Yeah.
Nogrul just exiting sewers. We'll soon have another report how players are doing in terms of levels, but I certainly think that Ziggy has been doing so well with those levels. And he's also gone for the same strategy as Dawn. Dogs by now is probably resetted for him. Ziggy has also gone to Dogs, but he was fine. He was not level 23. He wasn't penalized whatsoever, but since he's gone to Dogs before the Solaris, he will now be getting a ton more EXP as soon as that Docs resets, and he goes back to Act 1, picking up probably Onslaught. There you go. Yeah, that's going to really speed
Oh
him up.
man.
That's making a huge difference. I don't believe any of the players have found a Silver Flask, so he will certainly have a pretty huge advantage here.
Yeah. He's got some ground to make up with Dawn being level 27 at this point.
Yep, certainly. He is 27. He's about to hit 28.
Yeah, looks like he's about to hit 28. He's bar off.
And
Norse has
his
just
Docs
hit
should be
26.
up soon. Yeah, I have to remember he was the first player to dock, so there's no penalties, not too high level. Docks are, I believe, 29.
Oh man,
So
and Norse getting the fat host from
fatty
M3
host,
Gaming.
no pressure, no big deal, dude. Just a fucking massive host. No big deal. Well, he can't lose now, right? He has to show off that he is the best. He is the racing champion. Jesus, God, Dawn getting so much EXP from all those blue packs. Well,
So does
something to
Norse.
point. Yeah, but Norse has that. He is significantly lower level while being in the same zone. So yeah, I think he's looking to kill Dominus while Dawn with the docks reset might just get enough EXP so that he doesn't have
Ooh.
to commit to the boss fight.
Norse with the strats. The rules say you can't force reset zones yourself. However, docks just reset naturally. You
Wow,
are
yeah.
allowed to revisit a zone if the time goes out. So,
Yep.
oh,
Exactly.
Dawn face tanking ice.
Ooh, I can tell for a fact that is not a good idea. I've been there, I've done that, and it has ended a lot worse for me than it has for him, so
No Rice QT cosplays today.
nope, certainly not. Especially if he wins the race, I mean, that seals the deal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, but he's not going for the docks. No, he is certainly looking to progress here. Again, I thought all this time that he's going to go back to doors, but it's Norse. Norse is going back to docks. And the strangest part is also that Norse has gotten all the way up to Piety and then hasn't killed her. So he is taking a pretty big risk here because if he will be forced to progress, he's going to be in a
Oh,
lot of
that fire
trouble.
damage.
Yeah,
He's
that
taking a
far.
lot of fire damage right now.
Yeah.
I don't think he... Oh, no, he has fire res on his boots. That's it.
Mm. Well, we'll see what kind of zones he's looking to go back to then. I believe that he is level 28? No, he would be level 27. So he still has a lot of zones to go through, but as long as Dawn is in Scepter, he probably won't be getting all that much EXP, and I don't think he's gonna have enough EXP if he is looking to progress. He's maybe looking for the highest level zone, and then that way he can later on either travel back or just go into Aqueducts and finish the deal.
His gear is really, really good. He has a ton of cold res. He's got a sapphire ring on, and he has a cold lightning 2-stone ring that has cold res, and a helmet with cold res,
Yeah,
and
that
boots
makes
with
a
cold
massive
res.
difference. Yeah, that makes a massive difference for these zones. You really never want to be frozen. But something that a lot of other classes will struggle with is the proximity shield, but he's trapping. So he doesn't care. He throws the traps right on top of those mobs with proximity shields and just kills them instantly. No problems there. Norse actually made a full circle, I believe, and is now going to kill Piety. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he grinded
he's
out
also
docks the
progressing.
moment it reset. Maybe he has a
Yep.
timer for when docks resets.
Yeah, probably. That is a very, very nice call from him, getting chased around with the fire. He doesn't care. He's dotting everything up. And Ziggy now entering Lunaris. I believe he is level 26, so quite a bit lower than the other players, but still higher than Nogrul. Nogrul in Battlefronts progressing for the first time. I believe he also has gone pretty high up. Therefore, he hasn't picked up the waypoint. He's going to Lunaris immediately. He's going to have to rerun.
Yeah.
Oof, that might be tricky. Maybe he left a TP that we haven't seen. Sometimes players will leave a TP in Battlefronts up to not travel all the way to the waypoint and all the way back to where they came from. They will just leave a TP, and as soon as they reach the waypoint in Solaris, they just go back to town, take their own TP, and bam, they're in docks.
Ziggy almost just died to the same thing Dawn did with the zombies and Lunaris.
Yep. Definitely very sketchy with their current setups. Dawn just about to hit level 29. He's one level away. And again, his docks is totally up. So as long as he gets enough EXP here for the docks to finish everything off, we might have a winner here. We'll see how this turns out.
He might have just go to library, honestly. His cold res, he has
Oh,
0
yeah.
fire res. His cold res is really good.
Definitely. He can definitely do that. We believe Ziggy is still level 26 with Norse being 27 and a half and Nogrul just hitting level 24. So definitely a lot of action. We'll see how everything unfolds in terms of those zone resets that they
Dawn's
can't
even
force.
Don's even looting those currency shards, even though he's only one level off of being done. Oh, there's an Ice Nova box.
Oh, hits him really hard. If he had anybody else's gear, he would have been dead there.
Yeah, he has capped cold res.
Yeah, makes a massive difference. He certainly would have been dead. Yeah, gets those orbs of alchemy. Those are going to help out a lot. Opts to not pick up the fusings. Oof. And Norse is sprinting. He is trying his hardest. He will also have a decent setup
I think
Sector.
Don might be on the last floor of the tower.
Yeah. We'll see if he chooses to go for the kill and progression, or if he
No, he
chooses
teleports
to go.
out.
Yep. Let's see. Ebony Barracks. Oof, zone hasn't resetted. Every time he re-enters it, it messes
He's
him up.
going
But
back
he
to
goes back to
docks.
battlefield. Yeah. Do you think this is going to be enough? I don't think this is going to be enough EXP from
No, he's going to
docks to get him.
docks. Yeah, that's enough. He only has half a bar left.
Okay.
The 3 blue packs that are guaranteed should be enough.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. Ziggy with a diamond shrine really popping off in Lunaris. There's an essence mob. I don't believe diamond shrines are pretty good, but not that good.
Oh, I forgot the race is actually supposed to be 1 hour 30 minutes long, I believe. So we have 6 minutes left.
Wow, we only have 6 minutes. There is a possibility only one player will be reaching the actual goal of the race, and that might be done, and it's gonna be close too. I think Ziggy is 28.5 now, so he might also get there. We'll see if his docs is resetted already.
I think he's 27.
Oof, Nogrul with the incredibly unfortunate layout. Always
Oh,
checking
this
the left
layout's
side.
so bad.
Yep. This is not that recent, but quite recent implementation from GGG for whatever reason. The zone is an incredibly short one, but if you go up, you have to go all the way down. And,
it's in the bottom right. It's in the bottom left in this instance.
Yep, exactly.
There's also a possibility. There's actually a possibility in this layout where you can get a shortcut from the stairs and you can dash over.
Oof, Don is 5% away. You're right. He's getting a ton of EXP out of ducks. He's about to win.
Yeah, we're gonna have a winner here shortly.
Yeah, finishing.
He might even level off on the Harbinger. There we go.
Yeah. Finished it off in style on the Harbinger pack, taking a massive risk, but you have a winner. DonTheCrown raises his hands in victory, shoots us in the face for whatever reason, but I'll take it. Oh, what a race. Correct calculations all along. He knew that he will have to come back to those docks, and honestly, he timed everything quite perfectly. And again, possibly he might be the only level, the only player who will be reaching the level 30 cap for this race. Ziggy being shortly after, and then Norse logging out, looking for more mobs to kill. We'll see if Nogrul can make a difference here, or possibly if Norse can catch up to Ziggy. I'm not exactly sure. I think Norse is just barely ahead. Ziggy is covering his EXP with his massive chest. But I believe they're both level 28.
Yeah. Norse is 28, and Ziggy is also 28. This is actually going to be really close.
This is going to be really close, but Ziggy is in docks. And Norse's docks instance possibly might have not resetted yet. He has run it quite recently.
He's been checking through control clicking, and if there's a previous instance, he doesn't go in.
Yep. Very smart play. Definitely. You could see that problem from Don earlier, that he went back into his zone that hasn't restarted and really messed him up. Or maybe that was Norse, actually. So he's learned from his mistakes. Well, we'll see. Ziggy definitely pulling pretty far ahead here.
Yeah, Ziggy
He is.
actually has taken second place at this point.
Yep, he's really, really caught up hard. He's dealing with some ghosts. You can see the very well-known ZiggyD smirk on his face. I think he knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Will this Dox instance be enough, though? I don't believe so. I think he's already been to 2 wings. So he might just not get there with this one, but there's plenty of other instances where he can get EXP. A lot less EXP, but some EXP. And Norse's Dox will be up very soon. But will it be up
Ooh.
soon enough?
He got frozen by a box.
Yeah. A freezing box for Norse. Very unfortunate. In this clutch moment, he decided to YOLO swag it, and you got an unfortunate instance. And all his instances are already up. He opts to go back to Solaris. But Ziggy is so close. They're both in the same zone, but despite Norse being ahead previously, Ziggy really did well with those dogs calculations, and there we go.
That onslaught's paying off so huge. That 4-link is massive right now.
That is a massive difference. I believe we've only got a minute to go.
Yeah.
Ziggy is 29. Norse
What
is nowhere near.
Yeah. With the lack of a good bow, Ziggy made up for it with his gear. He has 1 to 2 fizz on his 1 ruby ring. He has 18 wed on another.
Yeah.
He has 48 cold on a quiver that has 1 to 4
48
fizz.
cold.
Or 428. Sorry.
No, 48. It's perfect. This really
yeah, 48 cold damage.
makes all the difference. I believe we're closing in over here. We're gonna have to have a word from Havoc soon as to where exactly on the timer we are. As players aren't running any, but Ziggy really kind of came out of nowhere.
And somebody wants to buy a 5% GMP from Norse right now.
Oh, he logs off. I think he's gonna sell it. Oh no, he
Yeah.
logs back in.
Oh man, dude, you just missed a sale. But we're at time.
Yep. This is it. Well,
so the final results: Don hitting the level limit of 30, Ziggy getting to 29, and noticing that his chest is blocking his experience.
yeah, he moved away, but it's a pretty clear second place for Ziggy, right after Dawn. And something to keep in mind too, Dawn had a substantial lead. He has hit level 30 a while ago, while none of the other players have. And yeah, with Ziggy being second, Norse is third, and Nogrul takes 4th place.
Yeah, and we're probably going to be getting the interviews here going soon.
Yeah, very, very fierce battle from all the players. Do keep in mind that these players are up-and-coming racers, so I think a big round of applause, some clappers in the chat. I think this has been a very interesting one, and definitely seeing some of the unorthodox ways of clearing Act 2, and also some of the gem selection made for quite a lot of variety, despite having 3 shadow players. All 3 have used different abilities.
Hey, Don. How's it going, man?
Good, gentlemen. How you doing today?
We're doing good.
So how are you feeling right now?
I'm a little surprised. When I hit 30, I didn't expect to be rank 1, but feeling pretty good. It's
that is you hit a rank 1 with a pretty big lead too.
Yeah, I mean, Lightning Trap is really strong, and I spent some time practicing. I talked with Dead and Doom, and I kind of got the idea from seeing Waggle like dominate like a bunch of races with this, and so I thought the no zone reset was really going to fuck me over, but I talked to Havoc before the race about being able to go back into zones that had expired, and I was like, all right, I don't think I have to kill Dominus, so I don't have to like do any sort of cheese. So
okay, so that was your strategy from the beginning. Were you a little bit scared maybe that somehow you will run out of EXP, or have you always had a backup zone in mind?
I didn't really have necessarily a backup zone. Like the library might have been like an okay place to go. Kind of at that point, I figured I'd have like maybe about a level to go or so if I got really screwed. But with Harbingers, like I just kind of slowed down and tried to attack a bunch of them. There was that one time I had 2 Harbinger packs on top of each other, and I tried to run right through them, and I got totally fucking stiffed. But yeah, what are you gonna do about that?
Yeah. Couple nasty deaths in there. Library probably wouldn't have been bad. You had a ton of cold res on your gear, I noticed.
Yeah, I had a bunch of okay resists. Lightning res especially. And it was cold res. Yeah, so I had some backup lightning res though in case I really had to go do Dominus.
Yeah. I noticed at the start you were standing on the beach on a Scion. Did you have any plans for that Scion?
Oh no, it was just clowning around a little bit. I had all 8 things were all auto attack, so I was just
Oh, so you were just debating us. I see.
oh yeah, just debating a little bit. Also, know who many people were going to go shadow. I thought some people would try to go melee, duelist, and stuff. So try to keep everything as hidden as possible until the very last minute.
Yeah, that
so
definitely was the
sneaky.
case. Yeah, we had 3 shadow players, and all 3 of you went for a different strategy. I guess the 4th one could have been the Ziggy going for a fire nova mine. It would have been interesting. Why? Okay, so exactly you went for it because of the previously mentioned reasons why you went for a lightning trap. Have you maybe considered fire nova mine, or Norse went for essence drain? Maybe that was a possibility.
I would never go Essence Drain. I don't really like the skill, and especially since kind of like the AoE adjustments. I haven't played it since then, but I've heard it's not as good. And like during leveling, it's nice from my personal experience when you have a little bit of gear ahead of time, but you don't really find that too easily, and you kind of have to like aim it a lot, and there's a lot of like just weirdness that can happen. Lightning Trap is just very straightforward. You just throw it down. The only other thing I really thought about was like maybe doing Blade Vortex or something, or some sort of totem build, but pretty good, but you don't really get into that until much later. So I wanted something that once I hit level 12, it has started really taking off from that point. And Lightning Trap's really good because you kind of can shotgun it a little bit against bosses because they're very big, and you can kind of shotgun it against walls. So if you just throw all 3 of them, they don't really go very far, and they all get triggered, and they don't get broken anymore when you first drop them. And so it was just very strong in that regard. So I figured that it would give me some okay single target. Flame Surge is always good for single target as well. And yeah, just took it from there.
We did see that you did go for the Gravicious kill. Was that just an EXP choice, or did you have something in mind?
Get fucked, and I have to kill Dominus. I need to get Flame Blast. And
Right.
I as soon as I started fighting, I was like, "Fuck! I don't have any fire res. He's gonna kill me." But I, just like, all right, I'm already here. I've already killed all this stuff. Might as well just see how this goes. And yeah, it was kind of just backup situation.
Definitely ended up working out. It's very nice to see that the original Shadow, so to say, with Lightning Trap still works incredibly well in this patch. You really showed the power of it, because a lot of players were using Onslaught, and has definitely increased their clear speed by a lot. But you were more focused, I believe, on those traps from the beginning. So. Cool.
Yeah, I picked up Onslaught. Like, I knew that I wouldn't be able to get it until you go like into the little tunnel and you clear out the eggs. And so I went and got it, and I had it on Freeze Pulse, and that helped out a lot early on. And it does feel kind of bad when you lose that, because the cast speed's amazing for a Flame Dash. The cast speed's also, you're just moving really fast with extra 20% move speed. So I was trying to figure out a way to work it in here in my gloves. I was like, maybe I can sneak it in here again, but I just kind of didn't think that was going to happen. And I really kind of needed a 4-link with Flame Surge or something like that to really get Onslaught back into the build. But it worked out as it was.
What do you think about Nugi's friend request and denying it in the middle of the race?
I had no clue who that was, and I was just like, delete. And so,
Wow.
Nugi, I'm really sorry. If you want to send me another friend request, please feel free. I was just very much distracted by everything. We had, some 1-bit donations going on with spamming emotes, so it was just a lot of stuff going on.
So you wouldn't do that to players in general. It was just a matter of situation.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that any player can send you a friend request and you will surely accept it.
Yeah, we, have a lot of friends, but normally if someone's a viewer of mine, I will accept their friend request. And most of the time, it's if they just want to see me online or send me messages, feel free. And Rise, you would do the same, right?
Sure. I
mean,
you
I wanted to post this on Reddit. This is perfect for Reddit karma. Drama, man.
We're waiting for some juicy drama here, but no, very respectful, well-mannered. We can appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like drama. I don't really like to foster that too much. I think the Path of Exile really has a special community where we kind of like all very friendly to each other for the most part, and it's part of like why I've very much enjoyed streaming this game. I've only been doing it for about 5 months, but very warm reception from everybody, from the other small streamers, other big streamers. Everybody's been super nice, super chill, and I think Path of Exile is very lucky in that regard on Twitch. Path of Exile on Reddit might be a different story though. So
special is definitely the word to describe the PoE community for sure.
I agree.
Well, I want to congratulate you again on the win. Definitely incredibly good job. Are you maybe looking forward to those events in the future? Maybe participating, maybe doing some commentary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely super hyped about doing more races, doing commentary. I'd be happy to do that. And I don't think I'm ready for the pro level just yet, Rise. You're way above me. But and everybody else too, like Ziz and everything did really great today. And yeah, thanks again. I do appreciate that. I would love to be more involved. I'm really excited about Path of Exile, and I think racing is one of the things that really makes this game great. And so I'm hoping to see GGG put out some sort of race or some sort of ability for us to like run real races. Like Blamped is one of my personal favorites, and I'd love to be able to just play it more. So that'd be great.
Awesome. Yeah, we're all looking forward to those races. Thank you so much again, dude, for participating. And congratulations on the win. We will be having some more runs, some more interviews in just a second. ZiggyD is coming up next. So again, thank you so much, Don. Hi, Ziggy.
G'day, how's it going? Audio might be a little dodgy on this mic, but I'll see how I go.
Audio, you sound as beautiful as always, Ziggy.
Oh, well,
how are you? How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Good, man.
Ziggy.
I'll tell you what. I'm super excited to be participating in this stuff because I want GGD to run more races, man. We love the racing action, and just thinking about the fact that so many people that had joined the game new with this expansion didn't even know racing was a thing, probably never seen a race season before in their lives. It breaks my heart, man. So was very excited to participate in this and to do some commentary tomorrow.
Do you think so you did end up going for the Ranger? Do you think
I did.
Possibly it was good to go with what you feel best about? You are primarily a Ranger player, so did you want to just go with a safe bet, or did you think the Ranger can actually outclass the Shadows?
Well, I think Ranger is not the best race class. I will admit to that. It is my favorite race class, and I am the most experienced with it. I do think going with what you're the most experienced with in something like this, without any kind of time to practice beforehand, is probably the way to go. That said, I do think that Ranger is a lot more competitive now than it has been in the past. We have Pierce and Onslaught now for the start. I didn't get Onslaught until like level 25, but I think we are a lot more competitive now. It's smoothed out that dodgy early game that Ranger has. And then once you start getting like Pierce, LMP, Lightning Arrow rolling with some Onslaught action later on, your clear speed actually, I think, rivals a lot of the other clear speeds. I mean, it's not Sunder or anything, but, in a no Sunder, no firestorm race, I think it could be competitive enough.
Well, Certainly. I mean, you've definitely got proof for that now. But also, something interesting that you chose to go for initially was that split arrow setup. Was that something you were planning, or were you trying it out? You did switch to shrapnel shot, I believe, around prison.
Yeah, it was kind of so I've done one practice run or one leveling fast run with split PS, and I think there's potential. I haven't had enough time to test it out and see whether it's actually better than shrapnel shot or not yet, because it's pretty good, but you do need to juggle your gems a bit, like swap between shrapnel shot and stuff for taking out Howl Rake, and obviously for stuff like Brutus and things like that. And I mean, most of the time you're skipping res anyway, so that better AoE can work out well, but I don't know. I'm not fully convinced. I think it has potential to be as good or slightly better than shrapnel shot, but yeah, shrapnel shot might still be a little better with the smaller density of the lower level zones and some of the narrow areas that you travel through, like lower submerged and such.
Yeah, not to mention the extra link save, so you can use Onslaught right off the bat.
Yeah, that is true. So you do have to kind of use that split PS, which is your 2 link right off the bat. So yeah, Onslaught, shrapnel shot probably would be a better go in hindsight. Mm-hmm.
How'd you
So
feel
would you
about the getting those move speed boots off of Hillock straight off the bat?
I mean, that was beautiful, but I feel like such a jerk for wasting that opportunity with so many mistakes. Like, there was so many times where I was like going back to town again because I forgot something crucial, or going back to the town at the wrong time, like thinking, because I didn't go over the support gems that I need. It's been so long since I've done a ranger race that I didn't go over the support gems that I'd need and when I need to go back to town. And that sort of planning is like, some of your work in racing is done before the race, and planning out when you're going to go back to town and stuff like that is so crucial. So spending all that extra time in town, I mean, I feel like I really wanted to hit 30 this race. I hit 29 and 22%. I definitely could have hit 30 if I didn't go back to town the 3 or 4 times that I did go back to town. So that is a shame. So I feel like I wasted the opportunity of those juicy move speed boots a little bit.
An interesting decision also was the lightning arrow choice. It does feel like with the ranger, you always have that problem. Do I go rain of arrows? Do I go lightning arrow? Do you think it's mainly a decision based off of the gear that drops, or is there something that is more your go-to?
I think if you have better gear, lightning arrow is better. I was getting pretty good drops, and I was kind of like hedging on getting a good enough bow to make lightning arrow really work for me. Because if you do get a good enough bow, one-shotting like half the screen is better than rain of arrows. Though with the gear that I ended up with, like this is my final bow here, Golem Thursus 8 of 15 cold and 7 attack speed, and I couldn't even use this other bow that I got. I just didn't get like a decent fizz bow at all through this. So yeah, and I didn't have enough int to run Herald of Thunder to kind of make up for that. So yeah, I think Lightning Arrow is a better choice if you're getting good bows and you have enough time to sort that out. So I think Rain of Arrows probably would have been a little better earlier on. And in the other races, anything that kind of amps that up, so like Headhunter races and stuff like that, or Rogue Exile races where you get good gear, Lightning Arrow definitely outperforms Rain of Arrows. But I think in this instance, it probably would have been better for me to go Rain of Arrows.
Yeah, you had damage on pretty much every single other piece of gear that you could. You had it on both rings, and you had extra damage on your quiver too.
Yeah, that did help quite a bit to kind of make up for the I would say I only had average bows the entire way, but I did get a pretty nice alch on the quiver. I found like a little bit of damage. I got decent rings. Yeah, like I did pretty well in the rest of the gear, and that definitely made up for it for sure.
So, because we asked Don earlier, what exactly was his approach to this race, whether or not he wanted to progress, and we just wanted to hear your strategy. Was there a possibility that you would have killed Dom and progressed into Act 4?
I don't think so, because of the level of a few of the side areas here in Act 3. My strategy was kind of always to progress to Act 3 as quickly as possible, being super conscious of getting underleveled, and I actually did get underleveled. That was a real struggle to not be too underleveled. I just found that even though I was trying to kill extra stuff, and you may have even seen I took a detour to Catacombs as I was progressing, just because I was becoming so underleveled. Even though I was trying to kill as much stuff as I could, I couldn't keep my level up within like a satisfactory range, so I was starting to kind of dip down a bit too low. So my plan was always to go into Act 3 to like sidetrack into a few like zones like Catacombs and things like that, spend a little more time in Solaris and Lunaris, and I thought maybe I'll end up in like Hedge Maze. Didn't really want to go into Scepter of God. Hedge Maze and Library is actually pretty good. So that was kind of my like late game plan if I needed that. But in the end, all I needed was to kind of bounce between Lunaris, Docks, and Catacombs to finish it off.
So maybe just a final question. Anything else you would have done differently?
I definitely would have tried to get that onslaught gem a lot earlier. I mean, there's a lot of small mistakes to work out in races, but I think probably my biggest one was just not utilizing that onslaught gem. I just haven't had, there's not been any races since they added all these new low level support gems, and some of them are just so strong, and onslaught is just such a strong leveling gem. Having that earlier on my AoE skill or something like that, even if I went Rain of Arrows onslaught or something like that for my AoE, and then rather than using split arrow and PS and all that, and then going to Lightning Arrow, which is a bit more socket hungry, I think using Onslaught earlier on would have made a big difference. Having that extra 20% move speed for the first 20 or so levels would have been a huge difference. So that's probably the biggest mistake I made. And other than that, there's always a lot of small kinks to work out, and that just takes practice mostly, and a bit of planning out when you go to town and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, you seem like a huge racing enthusiast, so I'm sure you're also looking forward to the future events. And I believe you're also commentating tomorrow. So
absolutely, man. Yeah, I'll be commentating with Ziz the pro event tomorrow. So I've been racing a long time. I'm definitely not the best racer, but I do thoroughly enjoy it, and I would consider myself an enthusiast. So I look forward to commentating and hopefully, I don't know, lending some insights or at least some color commentary tomorrow. Should be fun.
All right, man. Thanks very much for representing the Ranger race, and congratulations on second place.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yeah.
And thanks.
You guys.
Hey, Norse.
Hey, Norse.
Sorry?
Was that?
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How are you feeling, Norse? Tell us about your feelings.
Pretty good until that last half of Act 3.
Last half of Act 3. What do you think went wrong there? You sound disappointed about it.
It's just ended up panicking and thinking that I wouldn't be able to get to Act 4, so I ended up trying to find other side zones to get the better XP, and ended up going to all the wrong ones, just searching for some place to clear. It was like library, nope, I don't have cold res. Catacombs, density's too bad, kept going all over the place. Was gonna go kill Dom, but I'm like, only like 10 minutes left. I was just all over the place.
So it seems like there was a little bit of a panic moment. We were asking the other players what their initial strategy was going into this one. It seems like you had a little bit different one. You had no strategy? Oh, well, as for the Act 4 progression, I suppose.
My whole strategy that I planned out was 10 minutes before I went to sleep. I ended up doing a Merval run, and I ended up dying on that run. It was like good enough for me to bed.
Well, still a pretty good result, I would say. So it was a run on Essence Drain. Were you thinking about maybe using other skills? Do you think Essence Drain is the way to go now on a Shadow?
I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting because I leveled a Essence Drain build in Hardcore with a very little twink gear, and I was kind of enjoying it, being able to get that +1 gems Contagion with a 2-star and 2 links, and you can just cast and go. So I wanted to give it a try and see how good it went.
Yeah.
Which it ended up doing pretty damn good.
I felt like you had at least a little bit of experience with that, because I don't think most people would realize that Contagion clears that well early on.
Oh, yeah. You did definitely what we were a little bit astonished about, because I personally always struggle a lot to not overuse that Essence Drain, but it seemed like for you, you were really, really focused on Contagion, and it was doing a lot of work.
Yeah, just clearing most blue packs once I got that 3rd support gem in, or 2nd support gem, which is real nice.
So what do you think about Harbinger mobs for this race? Do you think they were worthwhile to kill, or were they, because for the most part, I believe at the start you were skipping them, and then later on, yeah, you really wanted that EXP.
It depends what instance, and how comfortable I was killing those mobs, because there's one in Crematorium that was completely blocking the way, and it was very rippy. Like, I had to log out because they all flame dashed and made a circle around me, and I literally couldn't move. So to manually log out during that. But like the ones that I got in the docks seemed very dense and seemed a lot easier because you had a lot more room to move around. So it's like if you had that room to maneuver, they seemed very good.
Certainly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very interesting. What do you think about maybe a little bit of an imbalance amongst shadows when it comes to Essence Drain, and then the other classes? They opted to, for the Chaos +1 recipe, they opted to not have the players use an alteration orb. You think maybe that gives the Contagion Shadow a little bit too much of a lead at the start, or is it fine?
Can witches buy Chaos Gems? I'm not sure. If they can't, then I'd imagine that, yeah, during a race.
Well,
They
starting,
can.
Contagion,
They
yeah.
can?
Yeah, Contagion.
Yeah, but
Also,
I feel
Lesser
like
Poison and Viper Strike also count as Chaos Gems.
yeah. Oh, do they? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the Shadow Start Gems both count as Chaos.
Shit, if I knew that, I wouldn't have vended them.
Yeah, we saw
I
that
kind of
one.
called that out a little
Yeah.
bit early.
Still, one wisdom scroll here and there doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
But I feel like compared to Witch, Shadow would definitely have an advantage when it comes to starting with Chaos skills, because the amount of damage you get in the Shadow area early on is just like insane.
Yeah, it's
Like at
really
level 30, I had 2 big damage clusters while all my traveling nodes were almost damaged. So my damage for, damage over time seemed pretty legit.
Yeah. The only problem is you can't use Onslaught with those gems, really.
Yeah, that's the big one. I was thinking about it as I was going through. It's like, should I try and grab an Onslaught gem? I don't know if Shadow can grab an Onslaught gem. I didn't check, but I was like, there's no links that I can put it in.
Yeah, but if you kill with a damage over time effect, the Onslaught doesn't work.
Oh, doesn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
jeez.
Well, it's a good thing, because then you wouldn't have messed up, or you would have messed up your links. But something interesting, I think a lot of the other Shadow players, so to say, didn't have as many problems as you had on Brutus. Do you think this sort of setup struggles on Brutus, or possibly maybe you could have optimized your gear a little bit differently?
I think it was mostly gear. The run I had yesterday when I died to Merval, or running to Merval, Brutus seemed a lot easier. But I had I grabbed a chest piece and my flask were a bit better, which means I could just stack blight on him the whole time. I didn't have to maneuver as much, which meant a lot more damage.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Shadow does not get a spell totem. We were discussing this earlier. Do you think maybe it would be fair for Shadow to get a spell totem so that he can slap that wither on top of it, or would that be a little bit too much?
I think it would. Well, in Val, my single target felt pretty suboptimal, and my gear was pretty good. Like I had the 3-link setup that I wanted. I had everything that I wanted, but the single target definitely felt underwhelming. So I feel like it might definitely add to it. Is it needed? I don't think it's needed, but it would be really nice.
Okay. Yeah, you did get pretty unlucky with that Vol kill. Despite you were actually, your single target, I would say, was probably second best, but I think you ended up getting like 4 ad phases or something just because of RNG.
Yeah.
So that was quite unfortunate. Yeah, that definitely made a massive difference in the race. But hey, man, are you looking forward to the next events? Did you have fun? Are you maybe thinking about commentating in the future?
I probably wouldn't be that much of a good commentator, honestly, but I definitely look forward to events in the future. Like personally, I'm not huge on racing, but I definitely love to jump in and have some fun here and there. I think it's definitely a thing PoE needs. Which kind of sucks because haven't been many races lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing you guys are doing.
Good insight, Uber. Thank you. But
Sorry, I'm just trying to get chat to spam forehead.
But hey, man, really good job. Thank you so much for participating in this event. Again, hope to see you in the future ones. And again, great job. Thank you so much.
No problem, mate. Thanks for having me.
All right, dude. Thanks. All right, and I believe a interview with Nogrul is probably not going to happen. He seems to be missing in action. Not exactly sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he's somewhere sweating profusely from how intense this race was. But Uber, how did you enjoy it?
It was very interesting. We got 4 different strats on both of them, or on all of them. So
it was really interesting to see how players adapted to the no Sunder, no firestorm rule, and that at the end of the day, they did have a little bit of a different approach as to where they're going to end up. Norse kind of going a little bit crazy with Ziggy and Don being rather focused on the Act 3 approach. Do you think there's any room maybe in the future for players to progress into Act 4, or would the rules need to be changed a little bit for something like this?
I think the rules would have to be changed. I don't see any reason to go into Act 4, really, for going into level 30. Maybe if it was 35, I'm not sure.
35? Wow, that high. You think 32 maybe would have been enough to make people consider? 35 is pretty high.
35 or 32 is I feel like you would just go into library and rotate between like library docs and something else, really.
Right. Yeah. So the EXP penalty from the zones really wouldn't have kicked in. Well, you think if players were allowed to use Firestorm or Sunder, the time would have been a little bit different? It was a pretty fierce race, honestly.
It's
only one player has reached 30.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to say. I mean, when it comes to progression stuff, one of the things that Sunder is really good at, it's not just that it's good at clearing, it also is really good at single target, because you get the melee totem and everything too.
Yeah.
But on that note, we actually have Nogrul now in Discord, so we can actually interview him.
It's pretty noogie comfy.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi there.
Hey, Nogrul.
Hi. It's going good. It's going good.
It's
How you
going
feeling,
good.
man?
How are you feeling though? How's the feeling?
Like it was definitely pretty much overwhelming when I raced for the whole time. It was pretty exciting, and I was so fucking focused, or at least I tried to be, and then I fucked up some things, and I was getting kind of nervous in between. But I loved it really. Like it was good, and for me it was a good ending. 26 is decent for my approaches.
Yeah. Did you have any plan going into the race? Like, had you practiced at all before this?
Yes, I had like done some like 3-4 race practice runs a day in the last 3 days, all like leading up to that. I did some like researches and I checked out what can you play, and then there was like Fire Trap Freezing Pulse, which lot of people play, but I hate Freezing Pulse, and a lot of my race practices with Freezing Pulse went pretty shit, so I went with Fire Trap and Spark. But then I didn't find like a lot of stuff that I had actually planned didn't work out. For example, like right in the beginning when you go for the Act 1, Nessa tried to buy an Iron Ring to be able to swap out Iron Ring plus a green gem for a Topaz to be able to get faster to that +1 for Lightning Wand. And I didn't get the Iron Ring. She didn't have an Iron Ring in stock for me at that point, for example. And like in all the practice races, I had like 5 or 6 practice races on that build. Every time she had a fucking Iron Ring for 3 Wisdom Scrolls, and that kind of bricked my concept.
Yeah, that definitely makes a massive difference for sure. We even saw that at some point you ended up running with a shield, and now with the movement speed penalty, it's not that big of a deal. But was that a conscious decision more in terms of you needing the defenses, or were you just incapable of finding something else?
Yeah, it was like a mix of both. So I basically had this white trash wand that I was running around with double wand at that point. Was in the Ghost Strand thing before Merveil, I believe. And then I wasn't sure what to do with that, because I thought like if I go into Merveil like this, I didn't have any defenses up, any good items for defenses. I was probably gonna get wrecked from Merveil, and it was even like it was already pretty close. So I decided to go for a shield, and that bricked my movement speed for a bit, like for a moment. But yeah, I thought like the block plus max life might be worth it.
So primarily, what sort of player are you? Is there any specific go-to Path of Exile ability that could be used for leveling, or?
I wouldn't say there's a specific one. I usually when I level up my characters, I end up on either Essence Drain, or for example when I'm going for Witch, I end up on Raging Spirits. And of course, when you're doing like a melee build, there's practically no better stuff than probably Sunder at the moment to level your characters with. But I'm trying to be like most of my builds will get leveled me in the end, picking the skill that I'm using in the very end. From like the very beginning of it. Like for example, I did like Spark builds already where I'm using Spark in the leveling process all the time, even though people told me like you can't use Spark for leveling. Spark for leveling is shit. But yeah,
Right.
like.
No, I think Spark is definitely looking a lot better. You've definitely shown a very unique style of play. We had 3 Shadow players, all 3 of them going for something different. You did mention Essence Drain. Norse was one of the players who did go for Essence Drain. So do you think in the future, if you were to participate in these races, would you still stick with what you're doing? Maybe you're going to watch the VOD and make a different decision? Or would you maybe try something else like Essence Drain or possibly Lightning Trap?
I'm definitely hoping to learn something from the WOD. I'm pretty much looking forward to watch the whole thing after I finished off my stream, and then I will probably, when I watched it all, maybe I'll redecide in some kind of way on some kind of other skill. But for the moment, I think what I did is, and then, like at the moment, it's good for me. But if I learn something from it, I'm definitely switching it up. Like I'm not stubborn with this.
Right. Well, I think we're both in the same boat then. I will definitely be looking forward to my race. Also, Uber, any final thoughts maybe? Any final questions?
Yeah. I saw you couldn't go for the Onslaught gem. Was that just a matter of getting the colors? Like, had you had runs where you used Onslaught?
That in the beginning of the game, it was pretty hard to find any like good colored 3 links for me in this very race. Like I had problems getting some decent 3 links up for like the fire trap links, for example, as well. So I ended up not using any links on the fire trap pretty much until the end. And yeah, that was one thing. Otherwise, I also thought Onslaught is mainly awesome to give you more cast speed, give you more movement speed in my situation, and you don't need to be way faster. I already was pretty fast, and I was like under leveled in almost every scenery. So if I'd have Onslaught, I'd probably be a bit faster, but my mana was permanently low, so faster casting would have cost me even more mana problems. So I thought like maybe I can build in the Arcane Surge some point.
Right.
But yeah, that's
was
hard to get.
If we can just sneak something more, just a final question is what sort of approach did you have at the beginning of the race? Where exactly did you want to end up? Were you planning for Act 4? How was that for you?
No, my plan was like in all the practice runs, I basically got until Marketplace, and my plan was to hit level 25, 26, and I totally like it went good for me, as I said. Because like the thing is, I practiced and I realized that I'm most likely not gonna be able to hit 30 in that because I'm probably not as good. And I thought it would still be decent to make like a 26 run, and maybe someone else does shittier or whatever, or I just have fun with it. Like it was just a fun approach basically. Yeah. And also I had a really bad mistake made when I was killing Fidelitas. I didn't fucking pick up the Baleful gem and locked out already because I was so fucking nervous at that moment. I was like, you gotta be fast, kill the boss, lockout, bam. And then I was in town and I didn't pick up the portal as well, so I needed to run like 2 minutes time back into there to just grab that Baleful gem again. So if I would not have had that mistake, I might even have been able to get 27 maybe. But that would have been like PogChamp.
Yeah, really. that was definitely a a big problem in this race, especially. It's so punishing if you don't get those waypoints or those gems. But to cheer you up a little bit, at least 2 other players also forgot the waypoints, so
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad.
pretty stressful situations.
Well, you looking forward to the future races? Maybe competing, maybe commentating.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I would totally enjoy either seeing that or being part of that. Definitely.
Do you think GGG should maybe
Of course, man. Like, I really like the event races, but I'm really missing racing as a part of the PoE community in every situation. Like when we have a long ass league, like at the moment, it's getting like not boring, but kind of tedious after some times. You're pushing build over build over build, and racing really gives you some kind of way to do something different. And if there's not a permanent way to do this, like why? Like they could just buy more servers or whatever they need and like do a permanent racing kind of scene. That would be great.
Couldn't have said it better. The perfect words, spoken like a true champion, dude. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank
Honestly,
you very much,
it was
man.
a lot of fun watching and a lot of fun commentating. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great night.
All right, boys and girls. I believe this is it. We've got all the interviews done. The race is said and done. Uber, we signing off.
I guess we are.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you guys stopping by and watching these events. Remember that if you want to participate, all you have to do is have a stream set up, shoot whoever you can a message, and maybe you can take part in these events, maybe as a commentator, maybe as a player. We'll see what exactly we can set up. Keep on practicing. Don't harass GGG too much on the races, but maybe a mention here and there is totally worthwhile. And again, thank you guys so much for coming. I hope to see you in the next weekend for some more events, which should be announced
Or tomorrow,
really soon.
actually.
Or
Because
tomorrow, excuse me.
We
It's
have
Saturday.
2 more. We have 2 more events tomorrow.
Gosh.
We've got the normal Azaro kill at, again, 1 p.m. EST. That's going to be Cute Dog wins Balor Mage and Mr. Llama with Rise and Havoc commentating. And that's going to be a normal Azaro kill with no restrictions whatsoever. And then after that, we at 4 p.m. EST, we have an Act 5 Katava kill with the restrictions being Ranger only between myself, Noogie, Gucci Pradas, and Dead and Doom with ZiggyD and Ziz commentating. So
maybe as a future contender, how do you feel about the Ranger only race? You think you're gonna do well? You're primarily a caster player, correct?
Yeah, but I did used to race Ranger in Season 6. I was rank 3 Ranger in the Signature.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
But I moved on from caster to caster at that point. It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to see some Sunder, some people doing library for Sunder and the War Chief Totem, since you can't get an Ancestral Totem without going to library on Ranger. We're going to see some. I'm personally, I'm going to say my strat right away. I'm going to be doing bow.
Here we go.
So,
you're doing the bow?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. A little bit of a risky strat.
Play Sunder. I don't want to play Sunder.
All right. Well, again, I don't know what I was thinking. There's more races tomorrow, guys. Everybody look forward to those. You can find the race VODs on Havok's YouTube, and you can find the races themselves live on the very channel that you are on right now, Havok616. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Rise QT and Uber. I would just like chat, just have a big easy clap and chat for the commentators today. Rise, Uber, Lifting, Noogie. They were awesome. I think they were awesome. And also thank you to all the racers for joining and all the helpers in the background, people giving me stats and stuff, which I am then feeding to the commentators. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. So without further ado, I'll cue some music here and then we'll have some post-game chat after that. Bye-bye.